Hi, Instagram family. How are we all doing today? It's another sunny Tuesday here in Cape Town. I'm just sitting outside in the garden because I've been inside the whole day in front of a screen, and now it's just good to get outside, get some sunshine, take a break. Livia is gonna join and we're gonna have another juicy chat. Let me just let her in.
Hello.
Hi, baby.
Hi.
Hi.
You look so gorgeous out in the sun.
Thank you. I'm wearing the dress. Little BG of this dress. Background story of this dress. We literally found it lying in the apartment stairwell in Berlin of Livia's boyfriend's apartment. We were like, what the fuck? This dress is so ugly. But then we tried it on. We were like, actually, it kind of works.
Fucking fire.
Yeah. Yay, thank you for everyone who's joining us live and for those who are watching the replay. Today, we just want to have a quick chat about the importance of being surrounded by like-minded people when we are on a healing path and being supported by people around us, friends and family who hold the highest vision for us along with us. I think that is so important. People who are willing to encourage us and support us in our journey of self-actualization, in our journey of self-development, and in our healing journey, who are going to encourage us to choose the higher timeline rather than going back into those old patterns and self-sabotaging behaviors, especially when it comes to how we go out, what we drink, what we consume, all these different addictions that we can use as coping mechanisms trying to avoid the deep healing work.
Yeah. I think this is something it's such an important topic for people our age because I just feel like there's so much unconscious consumption happening in the young 20s and also later on. Like
Yeah.
I'm reaching the end of my 20s now. So obviously I'm also starting to think about, okay, how can I move forward in a more sustainable way? And yeah, just really coming to terms with my own battles with addiction, specifically with alcohol, which is the most socially accepted and normalized drug that we use in our day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's, I think ever since last year, I mean, living in Berlin is also just a city where you're really confronted with like so many different levels of addiction and not just from yourself, but just witnessing it when you're out and about. And it really just kind of makes you question, okay, why do I even go out? Is it just to indulge my addiction? Is it just a form of escapism? And
Mm.
I think also in our conversations, we've also spoken about this a lot, Josie, like where we've actually come to the realization that a lot of the times when we go out and go clubbing, we actually are looking for connection with others. Um,
Mm.
but unfortunately, what happens is that, okay, we think that alcohol makes us more easygoing and it's easier to speak to people, like having a few drinks in, so that's why we reach to that beer. That's why we have that shot of tequila to make us feel more socially comfortable around others.
Yes.
That very thing actually disconnects you from your true self and
Yes.
disconnects you from the ability to make true connections with the people around you. And it's so crazy. Like this last festival, I was at Our Minds on the weekend, and it's the very first festival ever that I didn't drink alcohol.
Yay,
And
girl!
I fucking did it.
Yay!
Yeah.
Fuck yes, bitch. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, and it was
That must have been
such
so interesting.
difference. Oh, hey, Kat. Hello. Um, yeah, it was so interesting because I actually didn't miss it at all. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
miss it at all. And I just like, yeah, whenever somebody would ask to buy me a drink, I would be like, okay, yeah, you can buy me a sparkling water or
Yeah.
like a fucking Red Bull or I don't know what. Okay, Red Bull is
Yeah.
but still better, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, and it's crazy, like just I don't know, it just made me feel so much more empowered and so much more grounded in my own energy, not
Fuck
drinking
yeah.
alcohol and also yeah, not indulging in so many other substances as I normally would. And I actually outlasted most of the people on the dance floor that were,
Yes.
you know, that were fully like indulging in a lot of things, which is all good. Like everyone each to their own, but I fucking outdanced a lot of those motherfuckers, which was like really, really nice. Like I just had so much energy, and yeah, it was really amazing.
Fuck
And
yeah.
yeah, Awe, Matthew, yeah, you were also my sober buddy this weekend. It was so amazing. And it's so crazy. Once you're on that frequency, you actually start connecting with so many other sober people. Like also, like most of the people I spoke to, they all said like, I don't know, for some reason our frequencies were just aligning, and like even like the new friends that I met, like they were my camping neighbors, and none of them were drinking alcohol. Literally the whole weekend. It was so amazing. And
That's so cool.
yeah, and it just really made such a big difference. And yeah, I also wanted to say thank you to you, Joes, because you've also been like a big inspiration for me to just cut down on alcohol like significantly. And I definitely want to continue on this journey. Sure. Like it's
Amazing.
really been amazing. But
Oh,
also,
that makes me
that's
so happy to hear. So happy.
but you also have, you already have more than 100 days sober. Tell us more
I'm
about your experience.
111 days sober. 111. It's
Fuck
so
yeah.
exciting. So exciting. Yeah, so I've been on the sober journey since November 2023. And it's really, it came after obviously like last year was really crazy and hectic, and I went through a really big breakup, and then I went to Berlin, and then I kind of used like the energy of like sex, drugs, rock and roll in Berlin as like an escaping mechanism and tool to heal. And yeah, like it was just after coming home after that whole time, I realized like how much, you know, I'd relied on all these different substances and forms of relief to give me a sense of like relief and peace inside. And I realized like
Mm,
actually no, like there's a part of me that's running away from confronting these, you know, deeper, darker feelings. And
mm,
obviously I did a lot of the healing work, but there was still a part of me that was wanting to use alcohol and drugs to numb, you know, and to escape these feelings and to run away from the reality, because that is what these substances do, is they give us a temporary relief from our sober day reality.
yeah.
um, and what happens is our ego kind of falls in love with that relief. And so we kind of perpetuate it and continually to seek out that relief, seek it out again and again and again and again, no matter
Yeah.
how shit we feel the next day after binging, after, you know, consuming a large amount. And so I decided to just do it and go sober and kind of see. And now that I'm like over 100 days sober, I really don't ever see myself ever drinking alcohol again. I've really been able to be so much more clear and intentional with how I direct my energy. And like you said, like at going to festivals, going to parties, going to bars, like I truly have so much more energy. I'm so much more eager to connect with people, like looking people in the eyes, like engaging with them, being present, you know. And it's quite
Yes.
funny. I was actually at a wedding. I was at a wedding this weekend, and I was pretty much one of the only people that wasn't a family member or wasn't related to the family somehow or connected somehow. And and weddings are just like a classic place where people just drink a
Yeah,
fuckload, and just like so classic, and it's like champagne and then wine and then beer and then spirits and then this and then that, and
like
it's just like
everything.
everything, bro,
Yeah,
like
because everything
mixing
is
one on top of
available
the
for free.
other. Yeah,
Yeah,
literally, it's all for free. So then it was really funny. Like I was just watching people over the course of the night just slowly get drunker and drunker and drunker and drunker. And the later it got, the more people's drama starts to come out, and their
yeah,
tendencies and their like crazy sides. And yeah, it was just really interesting to be the little like watching munchkin on the sidelines, like eating my popcorn, just like watching all this drama unfold, and really
yeah,
just being like, fucking hell, I'm so happy I'm sober. Because honestly, when you are sober and you see drunk people, it like getting drunk becomes actually really unattractive. Like that's
yeah,
how I feel right now. It's like I feel really unattracted to the idea of alcohol and the idea of drinking, because I've like watched how drunk people act, from an
yeah,
objective place. Like I'm not sitting here judging, I'm just sitting here watching.
yeah,
And so it's like Liv and I aren't here to tell you guys what to do, but we want to inspire you that like have a little think. Like alcohol, like you said, it's the most socially acceptable substance,
yeah,
but actually it's like literally the worst for you.
yeah.
It's literally the
The
worst. It like
most
kills
damaging.
your brain cells. So damaging. It kills your
Yeah,
brain cells. It fucks up your liver, like
it
your
fucks up
mental health after a
your
night of
your gut flora, everything. Like,
your gut
uh,
biome. Yeah, it literally like eats away at your stomach lining. It fucks your guts. Like I've also heard on a podcast that like when you so the liver, which obviously detoxifies the body, when you have a night of drinking, the liver can't detoxify hormones like estrogen. It has to detoxify the alcohol, which is a poison. So then you actually start to imbalance your hormones because the liver can't do its functioning of detoxifying estrogen. So there's all these like
oh,
knock-on effects that happen
yeah,
when we binge drink, and when we go out and when we party. And yeah, having this clarity in my body now, like after not drinking for so long, I feel so confident in myself, because I've had that sober time to really like look at myself and have those hard conversations with myself, and like see, okay, like you just have more clarity. Like I can
yeah,
just see so much more easily, like in my own life, like where am I self-sabotaging, where am I acting out of my power, where am I still people pleasing, all these things,
yeah,
and also having the tools. Because for many of us young people, like unfortunately alcohol is the only like tool that we have to like feel like we can get an escape
yeah,
from our emotions and from our trauma and from the things that like mentally fuck us up. And so I mean, besides like therapy, there's so many other tools, and this is what we want to invite you guys into Pussy Temple for, is to
yeah,
learn tools to self-regulate, learn tools where you can emotionally get to understand yourself, learn tools that allow you to process your emotions like right there in front of you. It becomes this
yeah,
beautiful relationship between you and your subconscious, and you get to process your emotions in front of your own eyes and really work with them
yes,
as this tangible thing, rather than these thoughts that are just floating around, and these
yes,
it's sensations and emotions that are just everywhere. It's like, no, it's all here, it's right here in the fucking body.
yeah,
And the more present and conscious and sober you are in yourself, in your body, the more easily you are going to be able to work through these deeper layers of emotional dysregulation, trauma, stagnant energy,
yeah,
whatever you want to call it, whatever's bothering you on a
yeah.
deeper
I also
level.
just want to add to that. I mean, like, I remember the first time that I was sober for 6 months was during COVID times. And at first, it was really, really scary because all of a sudden I had all of these suppressed emotions, all of the suppressed stress that came up, and I actually did not have any idea how to deal with it. I went through a downward spiral, as so many of us did during COVID times. And the number one thing that helped me was really diving into spiritual practice and ritual practice. And I know it's not for everyone, but also just ritual practice doesn't necessarily always need to be spiritual. It's also just a practice that combines the logical and the subconscious realms. So when the subconscious emotions come up, often it can trigger you, and then you're more likely to be like, okay, I'm fucking stressed, or something happened to me, and now I'm going to go drink with my friends and forget about it. Maybe have like a drunken conversation about my friend that I can only actually express when I'm drunk in my face. I mean, we've often experienced that as well in our friend groups, where we're actually looking for connection, but the only time that we can fully connect with them are when they are super drunk or on drugs. And when you actually go for coffee, these type of conversations are kind of left unsaid, or just kind of like pushed to the side. Whereas, I feel like it is a very tough journey. I think a lot of people also don't realize their addiction to alcohol. Like for me, it also took until last year when I was 27 to realize like, wow, I've actually been addicted to alcohol since I'm like 16 years old. And not like an addict where I'm drinking every day. There's different forms of addiction. Like for me, like
levels.
binge drinking every other weekend, but then like drinking until I can't drink anymore, you know? And that's like continued for a very long time until like a year ago, where I was like, okay,
That's
actually,
most people's reality though, you know, if you go to bars, everyone's binge drinking and it's just normal. It's so socially accepted, and it's fucking crazy.
Because it's also, I mean, it's the easiest way to fit in, you know? It's been made to be the alcohol, the drug, that alcohol makes you more socially acceptable, in the way of like, okay, it kind of breaks down certain barriers so that that you can speak to others more easily, or have like a deeper connection with people. But that's why we need to.
It's not real.
It's not, it can be real for a lot of people, it can be real, but it's also, once again, using a catalyst, using a substance to access something. It's like a shortcut, you know, whereas if you actually sit down and practice your spiritual practice, come and join like our Pussy Temple on Thursday, for example, where you can actually have a sober, real life, heartfelt connection with someone, instead of using a substance to short circuit that process. It's going to be a much longer lasting effect on your conscious and subconscious body and emotional like code and patterning, instead of using something that's like just a shortcut that's actually damaging to your body.
And life doesn't like shortcuts. Like nature doesn't work in shortcuts, unfortunately. And so that's why it's not sustainable. It's like, that's why just because you drink once and then you're socially outgoing once, it's not going to last. You know, like when you're sober, that then goes away. Whereas actually, if you do the deep healing work of like working with your emotions, going to therapy, confronting your shadows, like coming to these sacred spiritual events where you can really like have the ability to facilitate deep healing within yourself, like you really will be surprised how much deep healing you can shift just through by being like 3 hours of being present, not on your phones, connecting with people in a sacred way, and having you know, a guide like me and Liv guide you through a process that, you know, you start the process as one version of yourself and you end the process as a different version of yourself, because you've alchemized whatever's working within you through that process, whatever it be, through the body, through the breath, through art, through meditation, through sound, through singing, whatever it is. There's so many different practices, and I'm so fucking grateful that we are knowledgeable and have access to all these practices, because they really have like transformed my life, have helped me so much, have helped me heal so much of my childhood trauma, get over my insecurities, and be able to be like a sovereign, empowered, confident woman. But it's also like it's all been through sustainable practices, you know, and
Yeah.
some things take longer to shift than others. And it's really just important for us to not be so fixated on this like quick fix pill, quick fix drink, quick
Yeah.
fix get this, and then I'm gonna be fine. Like, no, it doesn't work like that in nature. There's no quick fix solutions. Like
Yeah.
the tallest trees grow over hundreds of years with deep, deep roots, and they spend time on
Mm.
gathering in that nourishment and getting the sunlight and working with all the pollinators and whatever, you know, like in nature,
Yeah.
things take a long time to grow big and grow strong and grow healthy. And you need to give yourself that time as well. And sometimes that can only
Yeah.
happen when you cut out the distractions, because alcohol and
Yeah.
drugs and sex and these experiences, they're all actually just distractions for our ego to play in,
And
and
to
they distract
get
us.
validation, external
Exactly.
validation.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's all an ego game, whereas actually what your soul is really craving is something completely different, is something you might not even have explored, you know,
Yeah.
like asking you, how many people out there ask themselves, like, what does my soul need? You know, that is a
Yeah.
fucking deep and scary question. But
Yeah. It
that's
is.
what we discover in these spaces, you know?
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, and also I think a very important part is also to not be hard on yourself. I mean, I've had
Yeah.
so many fallbacks as well. Like, I mean, I started my sober awareness journey like in COVID times in 2020, but I've obviously still had my fallbacks since then. I've
Yeah.
still gotten drunk. I've still used other substances or whatever to escape. It's an ongoing journey, and like
Yeah, we all
for a
have.
long
I have
time,
to.
it was also that I was actually beating myself up. Like whenever I used to drink, I was like, "Oh, why did you do that?" Like regret everything. I was like super hard on myself because I also didn't have those mindfulness tools at that time because I didn't know how to like deal with like just being compassionate with myself and being patient with myself. And that's why these spiritual tools that we share with you guys in our pussy temple, for example, in our practices and wisdom that we share online, it is such a vital part or very good way to just get onto the right road, so be
Mm,
more compassionate with yourself, so that you can find your voice,
mm,
can find connection,
mm.
support in your community, and also in that way become more accountable for yourself by
Yeah.
showing up for yourself and showing up for others at the same time. So
Totally. And in that way, inspiring others to join you on the healing journey and to join you on the sober journey. And honestly, like I'm on actually quite a big mission to like, I really want to make being sober cool again, you know, like
yeah,
let's fucking do it. Like,
yeah,
honestly, I think it's so cool. I think it's so dope when people are present and sober and engaged and they're opening their hearts and they're sharing their vulnerabilities. And it's just like, wow, like let's just create a more conscious, open hearted society, like one step at a time, you know? And
yes,
unfortunately, a lot of that, like what you were saying about like guilt tripping yourself and like having these destructive thought patterns, like a lot of that also comes up because of the alcohol effect, you
yeah,
know, like you wouldn't be having those thought patterns if it wasn't for the side effects of the substances.
yeah,
So that happens like to the best of us, even me, you know.
yeah,
And then like also another thing is like those thought patterns and self-sabotaging behaviors, like that is a sign within you that like your body is like freaking out and your body's like, help me, help me, help me. Your
yeah, and
soul is
that's
like,
why
help
the thoughts
me.
come up. Yeah,
Exactly. But it's actually like when you self-sabotage, when you have that like I don't know what to fucking do feeling, that's actually a cry for help from your mind, from your soul, from your body that there is some deep shit below the surface that you need to heal and you need to look at and you need to confront. No matter how deep and dark and scary it is, you're going to continue to self-sabotage and continue to use alcohol as a coping mechanism until you are able to confront and do the deep inner healing work to let go and release that trauma that's clearly sitting in your heart and in your body.
Yeah.
So it's a really
Amen.
like self-sabotaging cycle. Yeah, it's like a negative spiral loop.
It is.
And we don't want to spiral downwards. We need a spiral upwards.
And also the amount of like as you mentioned earlier as well, how alcohol consumption affects your hormones, and especially it increases your cortisol production by like milestone, like really a lot. And cortisol is the number one hormone that creates stress, doubt, and is also the leading cause of cancer in our bodies. So if you have a high level of cortisol, it means that you're more likely to have cancer later on in life. And that's super scary. I mean, like, I come from a family where there's a lot of cancer already, and like there's a lot of alcohol abuse in our family history. And it's actually super scary when you start thinking about it, and it's kind of like a slap in the face of reality. But it is also a good motivator, and being like, okay, like I actually want to take accountability for my life, accountability for my decisions. And the best way to do that is, okay, maybe I'm not going to go 100% sober. Maybe it just means, okay, I'm only going to drink once a month, or just have one weekend, just keep it for special occasions or something like that. And that already is a big step into the right direction, you know. And that's why I think it's super important to maybe consider coming to our pussy temple on Thursday instead of doing first Thursday down.
Yes, if you are a woman in Cape Town and you're watching this, please come join us. It's going to be here at my beautiful house in Hout Bay. Yeah, come join us. We're going to have so much fun. We're going to get up to really witchy and wonderful things, magical things. I'm going to guide some meditations and some ceremonies. Livia's going to do an art activation. We're going to be drawing some pussies, some yonis, and yeah, we're really excited to have you all with us.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, I'm also super excited to drink some cacao, get creative, and just digest some of the stuff that's been coming up in Collective Circle. Like, it's so important, community. It's so important to show up for the sisters and to show up for yourself. So I'm very, very excited.
Yay. Love you, sister. I see you soon.
Love you too, Josie. Thank you so much for being my inspiration and being on the sober journey with me. And yeah, I'm very happy to continue spreading the sober love.
Yes, exactly. Spread the sober love. And also, if you're out there and you're struggling and you want help, you want advice, you want support, please reach out to us. Like, we can't do this shit alone. We need people out there who, like I said at the beginning of this live, like, who are going to support us and encourage us on our staying true to our values and true to our intentions. So yeah, reach out if you need support, advice, help, whatever it is. Livia and my DMs are open. And yeah, we'll see you soon.
See you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.